Also, earrings. These ones are from Leh Ladakh, and actually, most of my earrings are from very interesting places. So I'm gonna mention that too, like from next time on. And yeah, into the video. So I thought I'd share some of my favorite reads and stuff that I really liked, and books that I hope others would really like too. And the main theme for all these books are books that I think everybody should read because it would benefit everybody, and it would probably benefit society at large if everybody just, read these books. These are just books that reflect, that have a lot of deep connotations and deep meanings, while still having a fabulous story and being super engaging and not boring. And they're all fiction, so no lengthy self-help books. Nah, you do not belong here. So only fiction, and let's get into the books. And first up, The Diary of a Young Girl. And I've already talked about this book on my channel before. That's just how much I love this book. So I'm pretty sure that almost everybody's heard about this, but a brief summary that it's the actual diary of. Oh wait, this is the only non-fiction book. This is a non-fiction book. Sorry, not everything on this list is fiction, but it's the only non-fiction book, and it's the diary of an actual person, of a young girl. Diary of a young girl. Diary of Anne Frank, who was a Jewish girl in hiding, and about how a Jewish girl in hiding during World War II, basically. And I hope you have heard of the Holocaust before. If you haven't, seriously educate yourself. And this book is really intimate, and I think the best part about this book is how intimate it is, and how we can truly see her character and truly see her personality and everything about her, and how the war is affecting her, or how various things affect her. And it's not only a war memoir, it's not only a commentary on war, but it's also a commentary about teenagers, about freedom, about wanting to be different, and about humanity, and about how sometimes the world is just so wrapped up in their own thoughts, and how adults or grown-ups are often so wrapped up in some minor things, and how there are so many more things to life that we often do not see. And I think it's about being a teenager in a world of adults, and it's just an amazing book. It also talks about her relationship with her family, about, well, it's the diary of a teen girl, so it's a very intimate read, and it's just amazing. It also has just the right amount of historical context, and everything about this book is amazing. And I absolutely love her personality, and I love her character, and I just love the way she's put across everything into words. She was a brilliant writer, and I think it really also reminds us of how much we've lost to war, and that we really need to stop someday and regain that humanity. Next up, The Book Thief, which is also World War II related. This book is World War II fiction, and again, you've probably heard of this book if you haven't. This book is, I'm basically using the word amazing for each and every book on this list, but this book is about a young girl again, but she's not Jewish, and she's just somebody, just another girl, and living in a German town, and it's about her life during World War II, and about how she reflects on the war, and it's about how she reflects on the oppression on Jews, and about her reflection of the war, basically. And it's so much more than that. Again, it's just her story and the story of her neighbors and everybody else in the neighborhood, and about how they are influenced by other factors, including the war. And it's also incredibly tragic, and even this book was tragic in many ways. And This one to me was had more of an emotional hit than this one, but I've read reviews of people saying that this book made them cry, and I can understand where that comes from, even though I've never actually cried cried over a book myself. I know I'm heartless, but this book was truly very emotional, and it's just a brilliant book. And the writing, and another really good aspect about this book is the writing and how words and books are portrayed. So, you know, the title of the book is The Book Thief. So obviously books have an integral role in this entire book. And if you're a book lover, if you love words, then you will truly come to appreciate the beauty of words and books in this book. So read this book, people. Everybody and their grandma seems to be recommending this book, but I did not like it. Okay, it's not like I did not like it, but I do not think that it deserves the hype it gets, if that makes sense. I don't know, I don't like talking negatively about books, but this book wasn't as life changing as expected, or as moving as so many people say it is. And the only reason I'm mentioning it in this book, in this video, is because everybody seems to be recommending this book, but I don't. And instead, I would recommend this book that you've probably never heard of. But again, it's a fiction. It's a collection of fictional short stories, actually, and it again has spiritual themes and themes about philosophy and spiritual aspects to it. You've probably never heard of the book before. It's not that common. You might have heard of the author, who is a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, and this book actually has a very interesting origin story, and I found it in the bookstore of a temple in Kurg. I believe it's called the Golden Temple, and they have a few stores on the outside. So one of them is a bookstore, and I found this book there and I decided to pick it up, and I'm so glad I did. I just picked it up by chance, and it's a beautiful book, and it's incredibly moving. And each story, apart from the first one though, I didn't really understand the first one, but everything else was amazing. And each of these stories have such deep meaning to them, and so many lessons to learn from each of them. And as for this book, I will leave a proper review about all the things I liked about the book and all the things I didn't really like below, because again, it's not a bad book, but I just felt like it was a bit overhyped, and I don't really recommend this book. I would rather recommend this one. So yeah, this book is also a very deep look at humanity and about life, and each story was beautiful. Just read this book, okay? Read this book. The next book is, well, not a book. I'm referring to the entire Riordanverse series, which I obviously cannot hold in my hands. So I'm just holding this book as of now because it's one of my most reread books. I've reread this book like 10 times. I'm not even counting at this point. It's my comfort book, I think. And I just love the entirety of Riordanverse, okay? I don't have the actual physical copy of the proper first book of the Riordanverse, and that would be Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, because I read it online. But all of the series were amazing, and if you can't tell, Rick Riordan is one of my most favorite authors of all times. And I know a lot of people recommend Harry Potter, and even though Harry Potter is great, to me, the Riordanverse fandom was Riordanverse just had so much more of an impact on me, and I loved the fandom, and I loved Riordanverse much more. So it's essential to join at least one fandom as a reader, and if you have to join a fandom, please join Riordanverse. I absolutely love these books. They have everything that you need from a book. It has mythology. They have mythology. They have humor. They have your fair bit of history, a little bit. They have amazing characters, super relatable. They have diversity, which also it's not an own voices story, but these were the first books where I was introduced to diverse characters, and I think that is also one of the reasons why I love these books so much. And obviously there are a lot of other diverse books to look at, and I'll definitely be including more diverse books in my TBR and in my reading, and I really have to catch up with that. But as of now, these books are amazing, and I love them for their humor, I love them for their characters, and these are just my comfort books, okay? Read them. Next up, The Palace of Illusions, which is the story of Mahabharata told from Draupadi's point of view, or as it's written in this book, Panchali. She has two names. And this book is great because I think almost every Indian, or at least every Hindu, has grown up reading or hearing about Mahabharata. And it is so interesting to read about each of these characters as flawed human beings, because in these stories they're often portrayed as, these gods or something. But this book, and it was amazing to read it from the point of view of a woman and of Draupadi herself, one of the most influential women in the entire war and in the entire Mahabharata. And this essentially is a book about a woman who strives to be different, who strives to be great in a patriarchal society. And I love how flawed she is and how truly human she is depicted as, and how she makes the worst mistakes and how she has to deal with those mistakes. And it's just a very flawed book, and flawed character. She's just a very flawed character, and this book really explored her character very well, according to me. And if you've heard about Mahabharata at any point in time of your life, you have to read this book. And even if you haven't heard of the Mahabharata, then go read it. It's really good. If you can't already tell, I'm really interested in mythology, and my next book is also mythology related. It's again mythological fiction, and this one is The Immortals of Meluha, and it's actually part of the Shiva Trilogy. And this book, the reason why I'm suggesting this series is because it is about Shiva, and Shiva is often portrayed as a god, but in these books he is just another human being. And I think that was such an interesting concept to read. It also has a very nice outlook on to society, and it really analyzes society so well. I think those two, and it's essentially kind of between the conflict between these two societies, and also with the outside world, and just about different ideologies. And that was a very interesting concept to read. And at the same time, the characters in this book were explored so well, and you can root for the main character so well. And I really love this book. I love each of these books. Okay, I feel like I've been repeating the same thing since the beginning of this video for each and every book, but I do seriously love each and every one of these books. Fahrenheit 451, which I don't actually have the physical copy of, because I gave it to somebody before the lockdown happened, and now I don't know when I'm going to get it back. But Fahrenheit 451, and I love this book again. Basically, it's a dystopian novel about a future America where books are banned and where books are burned. And it is a really interesting book because of the fact that books are burned in this book. So that was a very interesting concept to read. And like a good dystopian novel, it is incredibly terrifying, because you can practically imagine how your society could easily go into that, how your society could easily suffer the same downfall, and how we are. It really does show you that our current society is so flawed, and it could become even more flawed someday, and that is a terrifying concept. And another thing about the book is that the writing style was amazing, and the kind of effect that the style had, like the way that words were used in this book to create an effect on the reader was amazing. And about the writing style, I'm not sure if I mentioned that but in this book's writing style was amazing too, and these two books were amazing for their writing style. So if anybody is interested in literature and stuff or writing, then those two books are my top recs. And honestly, as a book lover yourself, this book was again very interesting to read about and very, very sad, because it's hard to think of how our future could possibly be in that book. And next up, another dystopian novel, because I think dystopian novels just have so much depth to them, and they have such a good commentary about about society and societal standards and societal norms and society at large. And this book is The Giver, which I again do not have the physical copy of for the aforementioned reasons, but this book was also great. It really explored again societal structure, and in the beginning you think that everything's amazing and that everything is perfect and that it's about a utopia, but then slowly things start to go wrong, and slowly you start to discover how truly not utopia like this world is. And oh boy, it's pretty bad. You don't realize it at first, but eventually the book just sucks you in, and it just shows you about how flawed people's thinking can be, and how people can convince themselves that they are living a good life or they're living the right life. And it's just, and even though this may seem familiar, that it's just like another dystopian novel where everybody has this impression of a perfect world, and then there's that one character who thinks not. This book is not that. It's not a typical dystopian novel, and I can guarantee you that. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys found some good recs and good book recs in this video. And what do I say in this outro? I keep making these outros far too long because I keep getting awkward, but that's all I had to say about this in this video. And these books are easily some of my top favorites, and I think I'll be making this into a series where I talk about my favorite books, just chat about books and give you guys some book recs. And even though I didn't really do a deep dive of each book because obviously limited time, but I've written full reviews for most of these books, so I'll link them all down in the description, and all these links to where you can get the books will also be in the description. So yeah, check that out. And yeah, thanks for watching. I again hope you guys enjoyed, which I already said before. I really just have to say bye at this point. Bye, au revoir, see you next time.